Hey guys, those of you that got back to me about some things that you might need or some things that how confident you are. Thanks for doing that. Some of you guys were asking about kind of a review sheet, and I think that I'm sending that out today, first of all. But what I really want to go over is, what can you do to best organize yourself in your notes as we kind of move forward. So during a test situation, so you're going to get a problem today that is extremely similar to uh, what you did back on Wednesday last week or Friday last week, and which is good because it's from the AP and it looks very similar. So obviously, it's going to look eventually something like this. All right, now here's what I would suggest for you to do. All right. And that is as you go down these files here, first of all, I gave you these four graphs. And so they're going to look like this. And, you're going to come, it's going to get sideways. You're going to want to rotate it over and you'll be able to access those graphs, right away. Okay. And there's the big four graphs are the aggregate demand, money market, loanable funds, Phillips curve. The foreign exchange you don't need to worry about. Okay. Since this is a PDF, I can't delete that. So in a perfect world, you can print this out. If you can't print this out, obviously download it, have it in one of your tabs as you're getting ready to take the test. All right. Even if you have access to two computers, that might be a way that you can try to organize some things as well as you're getting ready to do it. So practice with that today as you are doing these practice problems. And again, hopefully it's not something you depend on. Hopefully it's something that you can check your work on really quick as you kind of go through the problems, right? The other thing that I am sharing with you is some graphs and formulas that don't have the actual graphs on them, but they do have some descriptions. And so maybe you even go through, and especially if you can print this off, like for the number one aggregate demand stuff, all right, just draw that aggregate demand graph into this worksheet, okay, or I'm sorry, this review sheet. So just another way that you can try to do some things. All right, down towards the bottom, I have which again you can ignore the foreign exchange stuff. We don't have to worry about that. Down at the bottom, okay. I have some formulas and it looks kind of cluttered. You probably want to rewrite those. Obviously, they're typed rather than written out. And so it was kind of tough to, obviously, anytime you type something like that, it's tough to make it look perfect. But it does give you some things, the money multiplier stuff, um, as well as, your tax multiplier, okay, your spending multiplier. And again, it looks kind of cluttered, but I'm going to give you a quick tip here. Okay, if you're really stuck, and like I said, I wouldn't say that you need to depend on this. You want to depend on this, but you can use it to check your work. You can use it if you get stuck. Okay, the big fear is that you're going to depend on it. It's going to take you too long to find information. So let's say you're on a question. Let's just say they ask you about the money multiplier. Let's just say they ask you about the tax multiplier. All right, and you're not really positive. If you push Control F, all right, you're going to find this pop up here. Okay. And like I said, if it's the tax multiplier, you can see right when I start typing that in, it takes me down to it. And so you don't even necessarily absolutely have to be super familiar with what you're doing um, in terms of what you have organized, right? And you can type it in, and it might be a strategy of last resort. Okay, so my two review guides are pretty basic. I wanted to keep them pretty simple, obviously, but I also, if you do some simple Google searching, and I did a little bit of it, and I found this website right here. Okay, and it's a PDF file, which it didn't link for whatever reason in your email, but this is it. So if you cut and paste it, you can use it. And again, I would say like this is your absolutely last resort of how to look up some information. Now, first of all, to follow the rules of the test, you have to download this. Okay. And obviously, when you download it, that way you don't have to search for it on the internet. You can't do any internet searches as you go forward. This one's pretty extensive, but I thought it was pretty good. I looked at a couple other ones and they weren't quite as good. Okay. And again, like I said, this is like last Hail Mary type of thing. Like, I don't know, let's just say what a recessionary gap is. Okay. So you can type this in. All right. I'll just type in recessionary. Okay. That's the table of contents. Not it. Not it. Now I found what I need here. Okay. Was able to find it really fast. And so as long as you spell things correctly, right, you can check your work with what's going on this. Again, you have to download it. You can't Google search as you're doing things. Like I said, my suggestion is if you're downloading it and you have access to two computers, that's probably what you're going to want to do. Okay. So download this as a PDF. Your Chromebooks don't quite allow you to do as much as a personal computer, so you may want to have that contingency plan. Maybe practice with it today as you go through today's practice problems. Okay, so I think that as we're getting closer here with these practice problems, right? I think what you need to work on, and a lot of you guys are doing really well. Remember, you don't have to get every answer right to be successful. You get every answer right, you get a 5. Right? If you miss a couple, you get a 4. If you miss a handful, you get a 3. And then from there, I don't know exactly how they're going to grade it. Like I've said in the past, somewhere between 50 and 60 out of 90, when there was multiple choice questions, has gotten a 3. Okay. Sometimes even less than that, 50 has gotten a 3. And so don't get so caught up in not knowing absolutely everything for every question. Okay. Um, I think that I have covered what I need to cover here. Again, you've got to do the legwork. You've got to make sure you download this stuff, save it to your computer. All right. So you're not having to Google search and have websites open as you are going forward. All righty. Use that search. It's Control F. Okay. And then you can find what you need to find. All righty. So today you're working on this stuff. Try to time yourself. Make sure that you give yourself some time. Again, what my fear is you say, oh, I can just use this search for these long PDF files, and then you get stuck, and then you depend on it, and it takes time to look up what you're trying to look up. Okay, so don't use that as a dependency, right? I would say start out with this page here, double check. Okay, I know what graph I have to draw. This is what I'm doing. Now I've got to jump through those hoops. Okay, as you are using scrap paper, you'll see today, kind of going way back to some stuff we originally talked about, the GDP deflator, okay, and talking about how to figure out GDP and know that the GDP deflator shows us the inflation rate. Okay, so for letter B here, it's just giving us an inflation rate, okay, as far as they use that term basket of goods for CPI, all that stuff. All right, it's giving us this year's inflation. So a little bit of a hint for you for the stuff that you have today. Same concept as last week. You'll give me the answers. I'll send you the website, the link, the doc that has the correct answers. I've been skimming through and kind of checking them. So it is, again, most of you guys, if not all of you guys, are, if not super close, you guys are already doing the things you need to do to get a 3 or above. And so, again, have some confidence, get used to these review sheets. You can also obviously make your own review sheet as you're moving forward too. Again, my organizational style is probably different than your organizational style, and figure out what works best for you. If you're really having trouble, again, I'm going to try to set up a Google Meet later next week, maybe probably Tuesday or so. So we're able to kind of touch base. If you have questions, we can talk there. If you have individual questions, you can always get a hold of me as well. So take a shot at this today's assignment. This is for Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with.